This week, think about a celestial voyage. This week's message delves into the cosmic symphony of our lessons and the hymn Earth and All Stars. Discover how God's abundant love extends from baptismal waters to the farthest galaxies. Learn to embrace love's boundless nature and break free from the scarcity mindset. Join us for a celestial exploration of God's overflowing grace and love. I think that the hymn Earth and All Stars is awesome. It goes way back for me. I remember growing up with the Red Lutheran service book and hymnal, and it was published in 1958, 10 years before I was born even. Earth and All Stars was written right about the time I was born, but we didn't hear about this song until our church got the then new Green Book, or the Lutheran Book of Worship. I don't remember exactly when our church discovered this hymn, but what I do remember is the feeling of hearing it for the first time as a kid. Sure, the tune was catchier and more contemporary than a lot of hymns, but that wasn't ultimately what drew me to the hymn, which soon became a church favorite, and probably really wasn't what drew so many others to it either. The hymn was talking about classrooms. Oh my gosh, I was sitting in a classroom almost every day. And the band, I loved band. I liked playing sports. Loud boiling test tubes, my imagination exploded. I wasn't there yet, but I hope to get to do chemistry someday and experiments. Loud crashing cymbals. Now there's something you didn't get to see or hear in church every Sunday. Sounded awesome. Stars and planets, astronomy. I love that stuff. Thing after thing that included me in that hymn. We weren't singing about old times. We were being connected from the beginning, from the time of creation into the world, experienceable and present and future. The writer said to sing a new song, and this really was one. God has done marvelous things, and oh wow, I'm included multiple times. The psalm for today is the inspiration for the hymn. But we see a lot of dramatic and new and marvelous things going on in the lessons and gospel as well. Peter has a moment here in the book of Acts. Peter's there with people of the tradition, his friends, his neighbors. Peter is there with his kinsmen, his tribe, so to speak. And lo and behold, the Spirit's presence becomes obvious in the Gentiles, the other people. This is a new thing. They are also a part of God's plan and also God's children. The song list becomes more and more exhaustive. I guess according to the first lesson, one of the earliest verses, well before the band, classrooms, and steelworkers, would have been Gentiles and Jews, Samaritans and Palestinians. Sing to the Lord a new song. Groups that seem a long way apart, but they are included altogether. When we start talking about all the stars, you're also including from our sun to a star called Earendel. In early 2022, the Hubble Space Telescope spied the most distant star anyone has yet seen. Astronomers named it Earendel, the Old English word for morning star. Well, NASA has used the Webb Space Telescope to study it further. Earendel emitted the light we now see some 12.9 billion years ago. So it exists in a realm of space just 900 million years after the expansion of the universe began. Because the universe has expanded in the time it took for this light to reach us, Earendel is now 28 billion light years away from us. Earth and all stars, Earendel, the furthest thing from us, at least as far as we can currently tell, is included. We remember God's overflowing grace and love each and every week. At Living Faith, we begin worship by seeing the waters of baptism poured. We don't fill up the font. We pour an overabundance of water. It overflows and runs across the ground. It splashes and soaks the shoes of the pourer. God's love is the same way. We as human beings have treated it as though it were scarce, though. We have proclaimed limitations on it. God's love is for these and not those. Yet we watch Jesus constantly expanding boundaries and welcoming all, and affirming the limitlessness of God's grace. Jesus tells his disciples that he has shared everything with them, and that the Father had shared with him. Full disclosure. And it's very interesting that Jesus presents the culmination, the knowledge of the universe, and sums it up in the actually very simple message of loving one another. The distant, the far apart, all the way to the expanse of the universe are allied together. Loving enough to give of yourself for your neighbor, being a friend. That seems to be the acknowledgement of Peter. There it went. My friend group just expanded in an unexpected way, Peter must have thought. But check out Peter. God's friends are going to be my friends, and they should be your friends too. It's a lesson we teach in kindergarten, but then as we grow older, we tend to begin to find our own exceptions. We begin to look for loopholes of exclusion. Different members of the Beatles talked about the simplicity of that song, Love Is All You Need. And some people ask, how can it possibly be misinterpreted? It's easy. Well, John Lennon told his biographer one time, actually, it can be taken in two ways. At one level, it means that love is the most important thing in the world. But it can also mean that love is the one thing you are lacking, the thing you haven't got. Are we lacking? Are we living in a scarcity mentality and mindset? Are we failing to employ our most abundant resource, love? Are we prone to see the difficult and proclaim it impossible? Are we on the lookout for excuses to exclude or exempt ourselves from the greatest yet simplest commandment, to love one another? Earth and all stars begins, earth and all stars, come rushing planets, sing to the Lord a new song. O victory, order from chaos, sing to the Lord a new song. Order from chaos, a whole universe where it can take the ability to see something for its light to travel to us billions of years. Moment by moment, God is creating pathways in this universe of possibility. Harmony from dissonance and chaos. Love from the jaws of hatred. Helping us to realize that the love we give does not diminish us or that love. God is a love of overflowing and unending abundance, dealing in multiplication, not division or subtraction. The new song proclaims peace among enemies, friendship where there was hatred or separation. Our world is lacking. Our world is in need of love. It is in great abundance, though, because it flows from God. Jesus showed its power and possibility and how vast God's love is on the cross when he said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. That love is overflowing, yet we so often do not drink from it, or we hoard it fearing that there won't be enough if we share it. In God's kingdom, scarcity is a lie. God's fountain of love is unending. We can splash around in it and freely and extravagantly pour from it and share because love can never be wasted. Because there'll always be more where that came from. Amen.